Hi, my name is Rosaline Ryan, and I am the Director of Institutional Research at Monterey Peninsula College. And for the past month, I have also been serving as the Acting Dean of Planning, Research, and Institutional Effectiveness. And I have served at Monterey Peninsula College in the IR department for 18 years.
Hello, my name is Barbara Mcneil. I'm the Director of Research and Institutional Effectiveness at Mount San Antonio College. I've also been at the institution for 18 years.
Barbara, I'll ask you the question first. How has your office changed throughout the 18 years that you've been there?
It's changed dramatically, as I'm sure yours has too. So our office staff has grown dramatically and our workload has grown dramatically. We're now focused much more on doing actual research to show the impact of different interventions, and also very strongly helping the college looking at institutional effectiveness measures. So the wonderful vision for success and all of the student success metrics are things that we help the college with.
My office has also changed dramatically over the last 18 years. The early years were really spent educating our college on who our students are. There was just no knowledge of who we were serving, who was in our community, and what those gaps were. When we evolved into a four-person team, that we were really able to expand the types of work we were doing. So we were able to move from simply reporting out on who our students are and how they're doing to actually being able to investigate why there are gaps for some of our subpopulations. We could evaluate some of our programs and services in terms of their efficacy. We could also start to examine learning outcomes, and we could engage in some very thoughtful strategic planning.
Now, all of that change in your department, it didn't just happen because you said, I want it to happen, right?
Yeah.
How do you think that came about? If you were talking to people like you are, who are sitting in the audience now, what would be some key things you might say to them to say, think about this if you want things to change?
We had been pushing for change for a number of years. I'd been pushing for a higher level analyst position. I had been pushing to move the function from IR into a planning, research, and institutional effectiveness function. And our college wasn't ready to move in that direction for a number of years. What initiated the change for us was actually being put on sanction by ACCJC. And we had 22 recommendations. A number of those recommendations were actually related to integrated planning and outcomes assessment. And so it was with that our college recognized the importance of having a dedicated function with leadership and resources in that area.
From my point of view, I agree with that. That helps. When outside people, if you will, outside guests come in and say, hey, you need a little change here, that definitely helps the conversation. At my school, what also helps is when the upper administration, the vice president and the president, see the value in the work that we do and want to support it. And what's really neat is the way that we do resource allocation at our school is such that if the groundswell, if you will, believes that research needs to be highly prioritized, it will be highly prioritized. That becomes really powerful to let others know how incredible the work is that we do and how helpful. And so then it's neat because we're not the ones saying it; they are the ones that are saying it. That's saying that we get it and we got it and we want more.
How is your office viewed across the campus?
I believe strongly that it's viewed very positively as well. What's really neat is because we have researchers attached to grants, so when we have major grants, we always have one researcher attached to those. We have researchers attached to student equity, to all the major initiatives across campus. Guided Pathways, just a new researcher added for that. And what we do is I ask the researchers to become part of that initiative. So while they report to me and I'm the one that needs to make sure that they have the resources, they have the techniques, they're doing what they need to do as a researcher, they're becoming part of another family, if you will. And so whatever agency area that they're assigned to, they become part of that. And it's kind of cool because at the beginning, sometimes when you have new directors and stuff, they don't understand why the researcher wants to come to all of these meetings. Like, why should the researcher be there? And then once they understand the value of the researcher and they build the bond and the data comes into it, Now, they wouldn't be without one, to the point where I've got researchers going to doing presentations all across the nation as part of the team, and some of them are being called part of the family. So it's again another way to make sure that what we're doing for the college and for those students is very impactful, but it's again coming from those outside of my office saying, yes, we need researchers, we need them a lot, and we want to continue to have them.
I believe that my office is viewed positively now. That wasn't always the case. When I first came in, there was wariness, and a lot of that had to do with just not being aware of what institutional research is and what it can do. I've always viewed my role as one of service, so what can I do to serve you? Also, because we didn't have an ERP, folks didn't have access to data. So it was perceived that there wasn't transparency from the administration. I worked really hard to overcome that by building relationships with faculty and identifying those who were on board, bringing them on as allies, and that group of faculty who really understood the value of research just grew and grew over the years.